Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of our Regenerative Cotton webinar. For those of you who have not seen me on our webinars before, my name is Kish Johnson. I'm Director of Sales for Advancing Eco-Agriculture. We are primarily a consultancy company. If this is the first time you're being a part of an AEA webinar, primarily a consultancy company that's been pioneering in the regenerative ag space since about 2006. And through our industry-leading use of SAP analysis, we very quickly realized that there's a lot of products out there that just don't move the needle when it comes to crop nutritional uptake. So we also have a very biologically friendly, NOP-compliant range of micronutrients, predominantly products to help improve overall soil health and plant health. But anyway, I have the pleasure of introducing two very good friends of ours now at AEA, Amy Williams, CEO of Citizens of Humanity Group, and Gary Friedman as well, the COO of Citizens of Humanity Group. And can't be more excited. It doesn't get old every time we meet and we do this, then talk about what we're up to. For those of you who are joining for the first time, we will be posting part 1 if you missed it at some point next week. So do make sure you go back and look at part 1 with AEA's founder and Chief Vision Officer, John Kempf, and one of our one of many successful cotton growers that we have, a part of the AEA program, James Johnson as well. But with all of that, I'm going to hand over to Amy, if I can, to start us off here. We're going to talk more about what we've been up to together as a partnership. So, Amy, good to see you again. Good to see you, Gary. Over to you.
Thank you, Kish. Thank you for such a thoughtful introduction, and thank you to everyone who's joining the webinar this morning. My goal as we start the conversation is to share with you more about our company so you understand who we are as a Citizens team and how we got into this partnership and the important focus and attention on regenerative agriculture. And then Gary will take over from there and talk more about the specifics of the program, the partnership with Kiss the Ground and AEA, and how to participate in our Kiss the Ground cotton program. So to start, I'm going to do a share screen and hope that this works because I'm sometimes a little technically challenged. Okay, so here we go. Let me just take that right up to the beginning. Okay, so what I want to start with is just an understanding of who we are as a company. Citizens of Humanity Group has been around for 20 years. We started the company, Gary was one of the founders of the company, with a focus on creating best-in-class quality product. We wanted to develop and design product that was thoughtfully designed and utilized the best raw materials and had a design sensibility that was also lasting. Our products and our brands sit within 3 distinct brand groups, which you can see on this slide: Citizens of Humanity, A Goldie, Citizens of Humanity Men's, and Gold Sign. Each of them have a unique aesthetic proposition, but have the same tenets and values in terms of our product development and design. You can see a little bit of an overview of the aesthetic of each of the companies, and certainly, if you are able to read this with or without glasses, a sense of the style elements that make each of them unique. As we think about our company and the way we approach the market, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is very controlled and quality distribution. We work with about 900 retail partners around the world globally, and do so with our own sales and development teams in each of those markets. We are one of the few vertical manufacturers of this category of product. So supply chain and sourcing have always been at the root and the history of our company. This, however, is the first time that we're going further back in the supply chain and starting in and with the most important element of the product, which is obviously cotton, as you well know. Over the last 20 years, we've invested heavily in our production facilities in both Los Angeles and Turkey, where we manufacture all aspects of our product range, from denim jeans to denim items, knitwear, woven shirtings, and other elements in that casual classification. The cotton that we're talking to this group about would be utilized in all of those programs. When we think about sourcing, we also partner with the best mills around the world. And I'll share a video with you so you can get a better sense of who some of those partners are. But right now they include Candiani, Orta, Kayahara, and Carabo, all of whom understand that US cotton is considered best in class and currently source cotton from this part of the world. That video, which we can forward to you after the call, along with our regenerative cotton video, takes you through our full supply process. So as mentioned, and you'll hear from Gary, the cotton that we want to work on and what we've done this year is actually take American grown regenerative cotton and move it to our main suppliers in each of those markets that we've talked about. We're also in conversations at this stage with Parkdale to understand the opportunities to utilize this cotton in knitwear for both American spun knits and then with partners over in Turkey. As we have mentioned, one of our goals is to migrate all of our products to regenerative cotton in the coming years. So for us, this is not a pilot project and it's not a capsule collection. This is an intention to move from conventional cotton and organic cottons to a full range of products that are offered in regenerative cotton solely. I'm going to pause here and hand it over to Gary and let him talk a little bit more about what we've done in 2022 with our initial farmers and cotton partners. And then we'll take the conversation from there in terms of 2023 and what we're looking to do.
Good morning to everyone. Excuse my laryngitis. About 15 months ago, one of our suppliers recommended that we watch the film Kiss the Ground. And we did, and that inspired us to realize that we needed to take our vertical operation back to the beginning. So we began the quest to figure out how to source cotton that would meet regenerative farming standards and be able to use that cotton in making our products. We were introduced to a variety of people over the next few months and organizations that we thought could be helpful to make the program meaningful. That's how we met AEA. A student that works for us did some research on who was working in the regenerative agriculture field, and they recommended AEA. At first, frankly, it was difficult to get them to believe that we wanted to do what we were saying we were going to do. Finally, we convinced them, and last year, for the 2022 season, even though we started a little bit late, we were able to partner with 5 farms and farmers to grow more than 1 million pounds, 1.1 million pounds of cotton that has now been ginned and baled, some of it on its way to one of our denim mills to be turned into denim fabric, which will be launched into stores the fall this year. We think we had great success with that, and we want to expand the program. So we also partnered with Kiss the Ground Foundation, which is dedicated to bringing regenerative farming on a broad scale in the United States and throughout the world. So what we learned is that every farm and farmer has different challenges. Every farm is located in a different place. Sometimes even neighboring farms have different challenges. So our program is designed to meet with farmers on a one-on-one basis and come up with a program that meets the standards of the Kiss the Ground Cotton program, but also takes in consideration the challenges that each farmer faces. What we're hoping to establish minimum 3-year commitments that we make and ask the farmer to make. Our program, as I've indicated, is very flexible. We want everybody to feel that the challenge is not too great. What we offer to the farmers is, along with the flexibility, we will offer monetary and educational help to minimize the risk to the farmer by converting their practices to regenerative methods and techniques. So the support comes in the way of a guaranteed buyer of your cotton. That's us. We pay a premium price above market, and we also subsidize the cost of using AEA products, which we believe will lead to better soil and plant health, greater photosynthesis, carbon sequestration. So what we're hoping, after you've listened to us and asked some questions, that you'll respond by saying, yes, I'd like to talk to you further to talk about joining your program. We're hoping to double our output in 2023 over 2022. The people who participated in 2022, all but one of them we're going forward with in 2023. I think they believed the outcome was successful, and we certainly did. So it's upland cotton that we're growing. The quality is not difficult to achieve, because cotton used for denim does not require the same staple length that cotton for high quality knits. But we are interested in both. And interestingly enough, the first year's program yielded very high quality cotton, which is what encouraged us to think about including this cotton not only in denim, but in our knits. So with the help of Kiss the Ground Foundation and AEA, we've developed some minimum standards for the first year, second year, and third year. And as you all know, we need to make decisions on who's going to participate in the program this year, because we're getting to the point where people have to start preparing the land consistent with what we're talking about doing. But again, it is not it's not difficult to comply with our requirements. And so what we would like you to do is, we'll put up on the screen our email addresses and ask you if you are interested in the program in participating after we finish this conversation, that you email either Amy Williams, Kish Johnson, or myself. Then we will set up early to middle of next week, private conversations to more fully explain the program and be able to come up with a design that works for you. So that's my pitch, and hope that this intrigues you. We believe that regenerative grown cotton is the future. And for citizens of humanity, we're moving out of the use of organic cotton into regenerative cotton. And it's our goal within the next couple of years to be only using regeneratively grown cotton on farms that work with us to do that. In addition, we're inviting other brands who want to participate in this program to join with us. So we hope to expand the market beyond our just our company's needs, but beyond that to other brands and suppliers. So excuse my voice, but
you did great, Gary. Persevering through all of that. Yeah, just add an additional comment, right? One of the things that if you're around the regen ag space of late, you will hear a lot where you're talking all about how we regenerate even the supply chains, how we regenerate not just what the farmer does, but how the whole industry moves together in uniformity and synergy around these key principles and concepts, and really get stuck in. And this is, as both Amy and Gary have alluded to, based on 2022, everybody that we've had as part of the program has been paid. This isn't a joke. This isn't, this is a reality. We've also seen a great success for first year growers on this program as well. So we really want to open up that invitation, as Gary was saying, to really, start to look at how you can be involved if you're part of the industry, if you're a grower. Take advantage of these conversations before the growing season gets started. We are a data-driven company. We're also bringing in an outside entity to oversee from a scientific and technical perspective everything that's going on, to validate the claims, to validate what we know to be true already at AEA. And the lift, as Gary has said, is minimal. And we're really excited about regenerating these supply chains in ways that remove the obstacles for growers to make that transition to regenerative agriculture. And it's really something that we're all incredibly proud to be a part of. I want to open up and just say also, if there's any questions that you have, feel free. This would be a good time, I think, to put those in Q&A there. If you have a question, whether you're an outside entity, excuse me, apparently laryngitis is now
contagious,
virtual,
via Zoom.
Contagious, yeah, by Zoom. So if you're a grower, or you're an outside entity and you have questions for us on this webinar today, please feel free to throw those in. And I think everybody on the webinar right now has our contact information as well. And we'll also make that available for the recording as well. So if you catch this and it's not too late for the growing season, or you want to look at even for the following year, let's be in contact. Let's have those conversations. Let's get into more details about how we can help you move towards regenerative agriculture, which is the future of cotton as we know it, for sure. So
just to add to what Kish said too, we are obviously in direct conversation with the mills that I've mentioned. We've also had great inquiries from brands and some of our brand partners who also produce their own product. So there is a tremendous amount of energy moving from organic into regenerative cotton, and there's a lack of supply and clarity of as to where it can come from. So we believe that Kiss the Ground cotton will be a new standard and something that's widely accepted and adopted by a number of other brands and mill partners.
we have a quiet bunch this morning. Here we go. Question from Callie. Thank you, Callie, for joining us this morning. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You're asking us, how many pounds are you planning to buy this year? And that's a Gary or Amy question.
Gary, you're muted. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to buy it. We hope to buy at least 2 million pounds in the United States this year.
So a good amount of cotton right there. So lots of opportunity.
Okay.
And a question from Karen there. Can you please post the minimum standards in the chat? Who are you working with on the verification, and with any issues with access to seed? We will provide the standards cotton deck there that was presented for everybody in attendance. I think that's probably the easiest thing. So thank you for that question there, Karen, as well. We're working with an organization affiliated to UC Davis, Jessica Chiatis, in terms of the verification. And we at AEA also are heavily involved with SAP analysis to validate every decision that we're making on farm. So our consultants work with the growers to make sure what we're doing is necessary, or ultimately even what we don't need to do. As well, in terms of applications, both nutritionally and for control in those first initial years. Any issues with access to seed? I'll say this, and Gary, you can jump in as well, or Amy. We are looking to move towards all our growers being on non-GMO seed. That's the goal. That is obviously going to be dependent on availability, quality, etc. But that is certainly the goal, and we hope to be an influence there in terms of quality and accessibility for those non-GMO seed strains as well. Gary, did you want to, or Amy, did you want to add to any of that?
No, that
Perfectly answered.
Yeah, that answered.
Seed is next. Exactly.
Yeah. So the next question I can answer.
Yeah.
The way we our strategy to get farmers involved in the program is a webinar like this one to introduce it. In addition, there's other AEA farmers who are working with AEA who are not part of the program yet, who have already, someone reached out to us yesterday. They may be on this call. We'll set up a call with them about joining the program. And some of our farmers from last year have referred other people. And the synergies that result from that, we had one farmer in Mississippi and then added a second farmer. The second farmer had a ginning facility that the first farmer was using to gin his cotton. So we're trying to get all of our participants to work together when it makes sense. For example, we don't want the regeneratively grown cotton to be contaminated by non-regeneratively grown cotton. So we want to work with the ginning facility to make sure that they gin it in that manner. But we're willing to provide all kinds of logistical help to make sure it works.
And just to build on that, the Kiss the Ground team as well, obviously they have had a deep history in this arena. And so Ryland and the team there have nominated and recommended a number of farms that Gary and Kish have had conversations with as well.
Yeah, we don't think we're going to have any trouble filling out our quota for this year. And as other brands and companies join us, we can expand the quantities that we're interested in buying.
Yeah, that last part of that question in terms of what do you all struggle with most in the process? I think from the consultancy side of things, if anything, we are just joining and coming alongside the grower in terms of recognizing, identifying what the biggest limiting factors are per the context of each farm, right? Everybody has a unique set of circumstances. All, as perhaps others have said before, all soils are certainly not created equal, and everybody has a different starting place for the most part. So really identifying how we can have the most impact and make that transition to regenerative ag as expeditious as possible, and still ultimately profitable, right? This is one of the great things that we're talking about here in this partnership is we all have a mutual goal in mind. Number one, to make the future of cotton regenerative, but to make it sustainable and profitable for the farmer, to put power back into the farmer's hands to be able to steward what they have in a responsible manner and still end up profitable, still not dependent on a number of other outside influences and constraints. So that's, at least from my perspective, one of the things that we're doing in terms of addressing the potential struggles in the process.
We have a lot of anonymous attendees, but that doesn't stop us from answering your question. No, this program is not limited to the United States. The 2 million pounds that I described is what we want from the United States for this 2023 growing season. We manufacture products in the United States and Turkey, and we're initiating a program in Turkey for 2023 as well, for the Kiss the Ground cotton. So no, you don't have to be in the United States to be part of this. How many acres are you looking for growers to put into the program in the first year? 100 acres is probably somewhere in the 75 to 125 acres is probably what the minimum should be. If for some reason there's a smaller amount, we're willing to talk about that. Yesterday, we talked to someone who grows 250 acres of cotton, and their idea was to take half of it into our program and half of it their more conventional way of doing things. And that interests us also because it allows for a side-by-side comparison of the results that we're getting on soil health and plant health and all the other criteria that become important for regenerative farming. So like I said, think of us as very flexible. We want to make it work with the farmers who are interested in doing this, and we're confident that we can accomplish that with any farmer who wants to do this.
Yeah, just to add on to what Gary was saying there in terms of the acreage, we're not by any means restrictive or exclusive about the acres. I know a number of growers that are growing cotton are also rotating out into other crops. That's fine. Please still feel free to have the conversation if that's your current process. But in terms of being able to measure the impact with our outside independent consultant there reviewing the process, it's really good to be able to be on the same acreage there year over year to see the kind of gains and improvements we're being able to make on that same piece of land. So if in your operation there's a portion of acreage that makes sense that you can be year on year out over the 3-year period beyond and commit to, I think that's the best scenario. But knowing again that we want every grower as part of the program to be profitable and to be comfortable with joining this enterprise and this commitment, then also we understand if you need to rotate out, and we'd love to have a further conversation about what makes the most sense for you as the grower as well.
I can answer Eric's question. Thank you, Eric. So yes, we do have other companies who are interested. We first started with mills because obviously we needed to confirm the adoption of the cotton that we grew this year and a change to the current supply process. So we have their confirmation, and then we have and are in direct conversations with brands who are interested in adopting this. We just went out to brands about 2 weeks ago because we needed to obviously ensure all of the mill adoption work was done first, and we'll let them share because there are different timelines for each of them, that news when they feel ready. But it's exciting because it really is something I think that companies and brands want to do, but it's been challenging to figure out where, how, and when to make the change. Oh, Eric's question was, do you already have other companies within the same industry who are committed to this initiative?
And for Franklin Johnson, we don't know the answer to your question. What's the future of regen hemp for textiles? It's right now, it's not a product within our offering. We know there's been a lot of talk about using hemp, but at this point, we're not the right people to be able to give you any meaningful answer to that.
Jeff's is easy. We will continue to repeat the questions. Thanks for saying that. We didn't realize you guys couldn't see the questions as well. Callie, thank you for your question. If we know other denim companies who are interested in learning more, how do we get them connected with you? You can have them email me in the chat or any of us, but I think in this case, I'm probably the best person to link to. And our emails are in the chat from Philip, and we'll also send them out to you after the webinar.
Some great questions, guys. Keep them coming in. If you have more, we definitely, have time. This is a great opportunity, as I said, to make sure you come away with the information you need, and or are able to have any subsequent follow-up conversation you'd like with any of us three on the webinar today.
So
Questions?
the next question is,
yeah.
Are you interested in growers also growing natural dyes like indigo? That's an interesting question. Are we interested? Yes, we're interested. We explored the possibility of cotton growers also growing indigo plants as alternative or as part of an integration growing, we reached the conclusion that that wouldn't work, but we'd love to have further conversation about it. We're also exploring all different types of substitutes for petroleum dye. So plant-based dye is interesting, as is some of the advancements in biotech.
And just to add to Gary's answer, we do use also colors that are natural dye. So if there's anyone on the call who does that sort of work, that's very interesting to us. So please do get in contact with us.
The next question, Amy, is what about color cotton?
Same answer. We're interested in that as well. We do adopt and we're moving more towards natural dyes and natural colors. So from a product perspective, we would love to have conversations about that as well. Right now, we're working with a company out of Seattle for a botanical dye color range, and they actually do create some custom dyes. They work directly with our design team. We've had them in our collection, I would say typically in the spring for the last couple of years, and we'll have them again in 2024.
Well, it looks like there's no more questions. So I will say we hope to hear from as many of you as are intrigued by this program. As I said, it's the direction our company is moving in. And we hope more and more farmers, whether our program works or doesn't work, that more and more farmers think about moving towards using regenerative methods and techniques. Because in addition to better soil health, it creates a better environment as well. And I think all of us know that we need to do that as citizens of, I'll use a pun, as citizens of humanity, we need to do that.
I'll also add in as well, I know a number of the growers that we've worked with in this last year and previously here at AEA would be more than willing also to talk to other growers. If you're a grower on this webinar and you want to hear what the experience is like for growers on the Kiss the Ground Cotton program here today, please feel free to reach out to any of us here with email addresses, and we'll be more than happy to put you in contact with growers that have been a part of the program as well. We want to be as transparent as possible and give as much information as we can to the relevant parties. So feel free to reach out to us if you want to speak to any of the growers that were part of the program in 2022. So, Amy, any last thoughts from you?
No, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your interest. We're excited to see where this can take all of us.
Yes, Anonymous has returned. Are you wanting to create specific regions or hubs for where you want this cotton to come from in the United States, so it is close to gin or milling? That would be fantastic if we could do that. But this first year, we had farmers from California, New Mexico, West Texas, Mississippi. So we've spanned the geography of the United States. It would be great if we could do it, but we're open to farmers located virtually anywhere and figuring out how to make it work.
100%. We will figure out how to make it work. If you're interested, we won't make geography an obstacle by any means at all. Yeah, if you're irrigated cotton, if you're dryland cotton, doesn't matter. Let's talk. We'll be glad to have another conversation with you. All right, I think we're going to call it wraps. That was short but sweet. I think we've got a lot of information for people to be thinking about. Again, right, the goal here is we want to find people that are interested in partnering or being an active part of the program itself. So thank you for everybody giving up part of your day, including my friends here, Gary and Amy. Thank you for being a part of the webinar and the partnership, of course. Big shout out to Ryland and the Kiss the Ground team as well. We couldn't do this without you. So thank you again for everybody, your time today. And you have our contact information if you'd like to pursue next steps in the conversation. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Kesh. Thank you, everyone.